Well, here we go again. Another violent crime has taken place. Another random act of violence by some nut. First of all, I just want to say that my heart breaks for every family of the victims of those that were killed. My heart breaks. I remember when Virginia Tech all those poor students were gunned down. I remember when that Columbine happened in Littleton. I remember all these acts of violence. You see, at one time in my life, I was a predator. I also was a man of violence. Let me establish who I am so that you don't think I'm just another flake on YouTube expressing a stupid opinion. Back in 2004, I ran around the city of Atlanta pursued by the Violent Crimes Task Force of the FBI because I was a bank robber. Technically, I was a bank robber. I was stealing ATMs. I don't mean the little ones that are in the convenience stores. I mean the 2,000 pounders that they have in the bank drive-thrus. Over the course of 6 weeks' time, I was able to knock 7 of them loose. I carted 5 of them away, actually 6 of them away, and was able to open 5 of them and get the money out. Wachovia, when I got my last ATM at the Wachovia Bank in Buckhead in Atlanta, Wachovia, who had just merged with SunTrust, I believe, I had gotten 2 SunTrusts and a Wachovia, so they were upset with me. They posted a $10,000 reward. I had a very close friend who knew that they had a shoot-on-sight order now because they had said on the news that they were going to shoot me when they saw me, if they saw me committing this act of thievery. So he turned me in, not for the reward, because they ended up giving the reward. The FBI gave the reward to my wife when I went away to prison, but he turned me in to save my life. Prison saved my life. I'm one of the rare exceptions to the rule. Yesterday I was out 4 years. I've been out 4 years after having served exactly 1,456 days, 4 days shy of 4 years. Once you do things with a predator set of mind, you see things differently as a predator. Even though I haven't committed any violent acts or haven't broken the law in the last 4 years, I still can't go through a day without seeing opportunity and targets where people who haven't changed their mindset would take advantage of this. People just aren't on their guard. Now, I understand that Aurora, just like the rest of a good friend of mine, going through some troubles. Wife died 2 years ago today, and today is his anniversary, and he's brokenhearted. But anyway, some crimes, violent crimes, can't be prevented. I know Aurora probably couldn't have been prevented, but there's just so many things in my mind, and I'm simply sharing this out of respect for the families. I'm not going to voice some opinion that says all this could have been avoided, but I just think that we can't just argue gun laws from this point on and then not prepare for the next lunatic, because let me tell you folks, the next big act of violence is on the horizon. It's being planned right now. It's acts of violence are though they seem random, they are well planned. They're orchestrated. They are planned out. This clown had 7,000 rounds of ammunition. You don't just go out and buy 7,000 rounds of ammunition without throwing up a flag unless you're the United States Army. So he had been accumulating this for a while. This had been his OCD. He had thought about this and thought about it until he had continued and came to that line in the sand of his mind that said, hey, if I step across this line, I'm going to commit the very thing I'm thinking about. And I don't believe for 1 second, as with all mass killers, that once they start shooting, I don't believe that they understand the full impact of the damage and the carnage that they are inflicting. I believe that once they start shooting, they can't stop. That's why the casualties are so high. He planned to go there and kill. I understand that. But I don't believe he planned to go there and just keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting. Why he stopped shooting and turned the gun on himself says a lot, but that's for another time to share. But here's my thoughts on this thing. First of all, why weren't, in this technological age that we live in, why were there not any sensors on the doors of that theater? And I'm not blaming the theater. I'm saying that maybe we need to take some steps to prepare for the next lunatic. When that theater door was open and left open for long enough for him to go to his car and suit up, had there been a sensor on that door, it would have alerted the staff at that theater. Maybe we need to put some sensors on doors. Secondly, why are there not any metal detectors at places like the mall and places where there are mass gatherings of crowd? I don't believe that nonsense about it. It gets into people's privacy. The only ones that don't want to pass through a metal detector or have a problem with it are the ones that are probably carrying weapons. Come on, folks. This is not 20 years ago. This is not the 60s and 70s, even the 80s. A lot has changed since 9/11. A lot has changed since 9/11. A lot has changed. And until we get this mindset that, hey, you have to realize violence and violent crime is a numbers game. You run enough numbers, eventually your number might come up as a witness or as a participant, as a victim of violent crime. We can't keep putting our head in the sand saying that it's happening somewhere else, happening somewhere else. On the 1-year anniversary of Columbine, I lived on a street called Nugget Drive in Conyers, Georgia. T.J. Solomon came to school with a pistol. I think he had 2 pistols and opened fire. Didn't kill anybody, but he could have. On the 1-year anniversary, I believe it was the 1-year anniversary of Columbine, at Heritage High. Heritage High was 600 feet from my house. All of a sudden, Columbine wasn't a world away. It was right at the end of my street. It hit home. When I was released from prison in 2008, I wrote a 65-page ebook. I was selling it for $20 at the start, but then I just got convicted because I said this information has got to get out there. It is now available as a script document, and I'll give that information later. But anyway, in that 65-page ebook, it defines and breaks down the mind of the predator. It breaks down what we have to do to prevent these random acts of violence. We have to, first of all, change the mindset that it can't happen to us. Every victim of a violent crime has that same sad line that they say. It's the same as the victims of tornadoes. They always look at the carnage that's left afterward and they say, I just never thought it could happen to me. And my heart breaks. It's still broken from that nut Cho when he shot up Virginia Tech. It's broken over Klebold and Harris when they tore up and shot up Columbine. So unnecessary. But I believe that we as a nation, if we could just make some preparations, and first thing we have to change is our mindset. We have to believe that it's always going to happen somewhere else. That's nonsense. You have to prepare every day when you come out into this world, especially now that our economy is in the commode. We're looking to Washington to straighten it out. It's not going to happen. Folks, it's not going to happen. We as a nation have got to reorganize. We've got to look at our roots, at what started and founded this nation. We've got to get back to God. That's also another story for another time.